Hey, that's my drink.
Hey! My mom got me that.
And that is why you should never get into a bar fight. The amazingly wide universe of Power Rangers has showed us some unique locales. We've seen such diverse locations in just the Earthbound seasons of the show alone. Not that Earthbound. I mean Angel Grove, Briarwood, and Megaforce Town. But a lot of these memorable cities are aesthetically just different flavors of Tokyo, LA, and New Zealand. But occasionally, the Rangers go off-world and visit distant planets. Following the footsteps of Star Wars, Power Rangers hits all of the trophy staples. You have jungle planets, ice planets, war-torn planets, and their sole survivors that get blown up. But one of these fictional planets stands out among the rest, and which one am I talking about? Could it be Aquitar, the underwater home of the Alien Rangers? Now that's a reaction. How about Triforia, home to the Gold Ranger Trey, and according to Ninja Storm's Mara and Capri, boys who are 3 times as cute as Earth?
Yeah!
Yeah, boys are gross. How about the planet that I'm gonna send you to if you don't subscribe? Make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a like and comment. Also, check out my Twitch channel. I need more viewers, please, I'm begging you. Sorry, we're talking about Onyx. Not that Onyx, no, the planet Onyx, a recurring location in the Power Rangers franchise known for its Wild West appearance. Why Wild West? Who knows, but it sure is fun. A particular location of note is the Onyx Tavern, basically a bar where aliens gather to drink, socialize, gamble, participate in auctions. It's quite the hangout spot. And what makes this location unique is that it's a neutral location with no real law actively governing it. This means it's often frequented by evildoers from throughout the universe, and this is Power Rangers, where being evil is just a normal occupation if you're a villain. I mean, they have a whole United Alliance of Evil. I'm sure that membership comes with great benefits, healthcare, and dental. But why do we care about Onyx and its spaghetti western charm? Well, let's start with our first visit. We first see Onyx in Power Rangers in Space, episode 16, Flashes of Darkonda, as a Red Ranger Andros rewatches footage of his sister getting kidnapped by the villainous Darkonda. He decides to take action. He leaves to travel to Onyx, but not before receiving a warning from Dekka, the Astro Megaship's onboard supercomputer assistant. She's basically like Siri or Alexa.
Alexa, how tall is Mount Everest?
Andros ignores her danger warning and arrives covertly, wearing his iconic red cloak from the first episode. I mean, it's not very stealthy, but you can really get anywhere with just enough confidence alone, no matter what you wear. The tavern is filled with aliens of all kinds, mostly reused suits from previous seasons, unused suits, or suits from other Saban brand shows such as Big Bad Beetleborgs. But what I do like is seeing some of the humanoid aliens, and that's something I wish Power Rangers would feature more. I think it helps bridge the gap between the more rubber suit type of aliens and ourselves. It's also cool to see some fun prosthetic work and a different kind of costuming. Of course, Darkonda's at the bar, because he's evil.
What? You gonna wash your hands? No, 'cause I'm evil.
By the way, this dinosaur bartender is my favorite character.
Like Sugar Bowl Zinger coming at ya!
You know, buddy.
He's just doing his job and enjoying it. For a place that harbors villains from across the galaxy, he's such a wholesome presence. He's the equivalent of Max Rebo in the Power Rangers universe. Darkonda walks upstairs and knocks on a door. A man answers only to tell him they're closed. Darkonda picks him up and demands he procures him a strength potion. The man steps back into the shadowy room where Ecliptor secretly hands him a laced strength potion. Poor guy gets picked up and threatened again for his silence. Darkonda gets his potion not knowing about Ecliptor. He returns downstairs to gamble at a table. Andros comes in with his totally inconspicuous hood and joins in. They play some alien card game, and it's so interesting to see a scene like this play out in Power Rangers of all shows. And what I like is that they don't explain the game at all, but through the tropes of card games that we see in other media, it's just fun to see them partake in a universe-building sort of way. I mean, it's pretty much poker, but I like that they changed it up. It also happens to be the first mention of Zanabatars, an alien currency, at least the currency used on Onyx. One of the aliens bets some keycards he supposedly stole from Zordon, mentored to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on his home planet of Eltar. Everyone at the table goes all in.
It's only money. I'm in.
3 Zanabas.
Ha! 5 Zanabatars. Not again.
Azenta?
Huh?
You cheat!
Andros knocks one of the aliens down and collects his prize. Darkonda, impressed and being a good sport, buys Andros a drink, still unaware of his identity. He offers to pay him handsomely for the keycards, which Andros uses as an opportunity to get information on his missing sister. And I'm gonna spoil that for you, by the way. His sister's the main villainess, Astronema, with her many wigs. We'll be going over another episode with her later, so I may as well spoil that now. It's also been, like, over 2 decades. Before Darkonda could spill the beans on who and where she is, he notices Andros' astromorpher, outing him as a ranger. They fight and Andros flees on his galaxy glider with the keycards. The next appearance of Onyx won't be until the following year with Lost Galaxy's heir to the throne. Following the subplot of a previous episode, villainous Trakina runs away after her father, the giant bug alien Scorpius, demands she enter the cocoon and shed her beauty to become an insect like him. Classic dad stuff. Worth noting, they change up the look of the planet in this episode. It's no longer a red planet with a yellow ring, but an orange planet with a green moon. I did a quick search and it seems to me that it's just stock footage of Venus, but Venus doesn't have a green moon, so I guess they added that in. She turns up to the Onyx Tavern, and at this point in the season, Trakina's been less of a physically threatening villain and more of a diva. The other patrons sense this and give her looks. She walks up to the bar and demands a drink, and there's our boy again! I'm not a big purveyor of headcanons, admittedly, but can we please just say this guy is the same species as Solon from Dino Fury? I mean, they're both alien dinosaurs, just different colors. Anyway, Trakina just takes the dude next to his drink. A short bar fight ensues and she gets tossed around before getting ejected from the tavern. She's about to get jumped before she's saved by a patron who'd offered to help her inside, which she had declined. He introduces himself as Villamax, and he's followed by his associate Kegler, fitting for a bar. Villamax doubts that she's the daughter of the mighty Scorpius after not being able to put up a good fight. She explains that, if given the choice, she wouldn't turn into a bug, but she would learn to fight and conquer all on her own. He offers to train her, and they do a montage.
It's the eye of the spider, it's poison, it won't bite. Oh, look out, I'm an excellent fighter.
All while this is going on, her father Scorpius is deceived into thinking the Rangers kidnapped his daughter, all a ploy by the villain Deviat, who's the show's backstabber extraordinaire. Scorpius, being a good father, fights the Rangers, who end up mortally wounding him. Back on Onyx, Trakina finishes her training, returns to the bar, and kicks some ass. Or at least her stunt double does. Unfortunately, Kegler runs in to pass on news of her father. She returns to him, to Deviat's dismay, as he wanted her out of the picture to have the power of the cocoon to himself. This episode, and the next, becomes a big turning point for Trakina's character, and if she had gone to any other planet, who knows, things may have turned out differently. Onyx's third appearance comes just 11 episodes later in Protect the Quasar Saber. It's sort of an unofficial part 3 to the previous 2 episodes, being the Lost Galaxy in Space crossover, To the 10th Power, and the noteworthy Power of Pink, which on its own can be its own video. In fact, we follow up directly from the fallout of Power of Pink. After the, spoilers again, death of Pink Ranger Kendricks, the Rangers are on the hunt for her weapon and source of her power, the Pink Quasar Saber. The character who found it is none other than the same guy who sold Darkonda the laced strength potion. Okay, it's not confirmed that it's the same guy, but it's obviously the same actor with similar looking prosthetics and the same voice. Only difference here is that they actually give him a credit at the end of the episode, revealing his name to be Runtus. After giving the Rangers a false lead and leading them into a trap, it's revealed to be Deviat in disguise. The real Runtus is tied up by him. Wow, poor guy gets threatened by not 1, not 2, but 3 major villains between 2 appearances. Poor Runtus, he's the Turk Barrett of Power Rangers. By the way, would you guys like to see Marvel videos from me? Let me know in the comments. He reveals to Deviat that the saber is on Onyx, and in the background, someone overhears them from a bush. On the actual planet of Onyx itself, it seems the Pink Quasar Saber has changed hands from Runtus to a villainous black market auction. There's a callback to flashes of Darkonda when the auctioneer starts taking bids in the form of Zanabatars. Unfortunately, our favorite bartender is nowhere to be seen in this episode.
You got it.
Must be his day off. Various villains bid for the weapon, only for a voice to call out from the crowd.
1 million.
Astronema.
Astronema, Princess of Evil, main villainess of the previous season, Power Rangers in Space, and sister to Red Space Ranger Andros, outbids the whole tavern, except it's not Astronema. Trakina calls her out. A small fight ensues, and one of Astronema's many fabulous wigs falls off, and it's Corone, pretending to be evil again so she can take the saber for herself. Corone gets away, intending to return the Quasar Saber to the other Galaxy Rangers, only for her to get her redemption arc. Unfortunately, at least for the show, that's the last we see of the Onyx Tavern, though not necessarily the planet. Onyx won't be seen until 5 years later in Dino Thunder, but put a pin on that, we'll come back to it. We next hear about Onyx twice in the following season, Power Rangers SPD. The first might be Onyx. In the episode Wired Part 1, the villainous Mora travels to the home planet of General Valko. The planet itself seems to have a different surface, though I don't think it's too far-fetched when you consider how diverse Earth is. But the establishing shot for the planet is the exact same one used in Lost Galaxy's Heir to the Throne and Protect the Quasar Saber. By this season, Power Rangers moved production to New Zealand, and this is one of the few times outside of a clip show where they used footage from the previous American shot production. They don't mention the planet to be Onyx, but I'd say it's safe to assume considering it's the exact same shot. But not to worry, the planet does get directly acknowledged in a later episode called History, the first of two SPD and Dino Thunder team-ups. Onyx is mentioned by Broodwing as the location he acquires the Dino Thunder's source of power, the Dino Gems. Hey, we've learned this ain't the first time Ranger powers were on the auction block. Wonder how many Zanabatars Broodwing paid for it. 2 years later, we actually do get some scenes set on Onyx during Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. While we don't get to revisit the cool Wild West location, it becomes the primary base for the villains in the 15th anniversary team-up special, Once a Ranger. What is it with Onyx and team-ups? Speaking of team-ups, Operation Overdrive is known for having multiple villain factions. There's Flurious and his Chillers, Moltor and his Lava Lizards, the Space Ninjas Camdor and Miratrix, and finally the alien cyborg Fear Cats, Mig and Benglo. While they normally despise one another, they're recruited by a mysterious new villain to work together.
I'm Strax, son of Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed.
Thor, son of Odin.
Sasa, son of a bitch.
Thrax is the fanfiction OC son of the original series villains Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed, except unlike fanfiction, he's canon. Always thought the concept of him was funny. He's what I'd imagine someone from 2007 DeviantArt would create for a $10 commission. I guess the modern version of that statement is, he looks like if you made an AI generate an image of Rita and Zed's son. Oh, AI. Onyx appears a few times throughout the episode, but its name isn't outright said. You can tell it's Onyx because in part 2, they reuse the establishing shot from Heir to the Throne.
Look at this. This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is. Wow.
But that's really about it, other than the Dino Thunder appearance, but we're still putting a hold on that. We'll get around to it at the end of the video, so stick around. Now that may be it for the show, but Onyx makes an appearance at the end of Boom Studios' Power Rangers number 4. If you haven't kept up with the comics, or read them at all, I'll try and run down what you need to know. It's an expansion on the show's story, and this particular run follows the Omega Rangers and Lord Draken. You may have heard of Draken from the big Power Rangers Shattered Grid story arc. He's an evil, alternate universe version of Tommy. Tommy gets killed by him, and he fractures the timeline to collect different Ranger powers and harness the full power of the Morphin Grid. Anyway, he gets defeated, and at this point in the story, he mysteriously returns to the mainline Earth. The Omega Rangers, no, not the Omega Ranger, and no, not that one either. They are Jason, Zach, and Trini, the original red, black, and yellow Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In the show, due to a pay dispute, the characters were written out and replaced by Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. The only explanation being that they were chosen to be part of the infamous Peace Conference. The comic story just writes it off as an alibi, a lie, and they instead head out into space with a new set of powers granted to them by the Blue Emissary. Anyway, the comic story involves them breaking Draken out of the command center after Zordon imprisons him. They blast off into space and would eventually need to repair one of their engines, to which Draken mentions he knows a place. At the end of issue number 4, we see a familiar card game. We're back in the Onyx Tavern, baby! Continuing on, in Power Rangers issue number 5, Jason and Zach walk through the planet. Zach even mentions how the Wild West look doesn't make sense. They're looking for an alien named Fendrick Prot. They asked the bartender, but with no luck. Maybe if they asked this guy instead, they'd be getting somewhere.
Coming at ya!
They ask the patrons of the bar, "Oh, hi Villamax." Elsewhere on the planet, Trini and Draken are doing repairs on the ship. Jason and Zach find this Fendrick Prot guy and attempt to gamble with him to get the part they need for their ship. And they lose. Fendrick Prot pulls out a gun and threatens to vaporize them if they whine like sore losers, only for a knife to be thrown at him, cutting off his arm.
Now who the fuck did that?
It's your girl, Astronema, Princess of Evil.
Hey guys, it's your girl!
It's really cool that this is like a Mighty Morphin side story and a prequel to In Space, because we get to see characters from these seasons interact. Astronema, albeit a younger version of her, has come to kill Jason and Zach, whom she can tell are Rangers. She lunges at them, and in the ensuing chaos, it's revealed that Fendrick Prot is a filthy cheator. The two morph and fight Astronema. As they fight, the other patrons in the tavern join in, mentioning that Emperor Grum will pay a hefty reward. Astronema, Jason, and Zach leave the bar fight and continue duking it out outside, just the three of them. Then, from out of nowhere, pun intended, they're apprehended by Space Patrol Delta. At the end of the issue, Draken and Trini are approached by Ecliptor, who wants to break them out of SPD's custody. The rest of the issue is a prison break, and Draken goes to retrieve the part that they need for their ship by threatening Anna Fendrick. And that, so far, is Onyx's final appearance, but we've still got the appearance in Dino Thunder. Which we'll get to, we're not quite there yet. Because I like to give myself some extra work, let's talk about the behind the scenes of Onyx. Scenes set here are well known for their reuse of old monster suits from the show. The interesting thing is, many of these were monsters who have already been defeated. Granted, many are aliens, so they may just be different members of the same species, but I thought it'd be fun to rapid fire through them and keep a catalog of who's reappeared. In Flashes of Darkonda, we see, in a rough order of appearance, Quantrons on bikes and some Quadrifighters, Tengo Warriors, Octo Phantom, Sinister Simian, Batarax, the Snow Monster from Storybook Rangers, Best Boy Bartender, an unused Beetleborgs Metallics Ant Monster, Discordia, Hammerhands and Triplesaurus Rex from Beetleborgs, Marvo the Meanie, Psycho Yellow's monster form a whole 15 episodes before the Psycho Rangers even appear, Piranatrons, Rita Repulsa's dress, if you count that? I don't know, but it was interesting that the guy who accuses Andros of cheating is wearing it as part of his getup. A Maggot from Masked Rider, Terror Bear from Beetleborgs, the unused Cicada Nejire from Mega Ranger, a Chromite, Coralizer,
The pioneers would eat coral.
a Cog, a Z-Putty, the unused Cocker Ranger monster, Shironary, Punch-a-Bunch, Stag Beetle, and a Terradrag from Beetleborgs with a head of Dreadfeather. In Heir to the Throne, Rhino Blaster, Best Boy Bartender again, Waspicable, possibly Pumpkin Rapper's head, the unused Mega Man, the unused Mega Ranger monster, Mole Nejire,
I am a mole.
Termitus, another Maggot, Fearog, a repaint of Turban Shell with a mosquito thing added. According to Google, that thing's called a proboscis. Cicada Nejire again, a Beryllian Bug. Speaking of, the episode the Beryllian Bug originated in is featured in my video, The Horror of Power Rangers, and you should watch it if you haven't. Ahem. Ushioni, an unused Cocker Ranger monster. Destructoid, then the most terrifying monster of them all, a crew member with a boom arm in the window.
Come, let me train you, and I guarantee that when we're finished, the universe will shudder at the name Trakina.
Cataclaws from Beetleborgs, Batarax again, Sockadillo, and a repainted Robo-Goat. In Protect the Quasar Saber, we see Oysterizer, Flamite, Marvo the Meanie again, Ushioni again, the Shark Brothers, two Piranatrons, Sinister Simian again, Cataclaws again, Sledge, but not that Sledge. Not the one from Dino Charge. He was actually cut from the Lost Galaxy episode Homesick, and his name comes from the original Fox Kids Lost Galaxy website. Sockadillo again, Red Crocotox, Termitus again, Decibat 3 episodes before his proper debut episode, Ferocious from Beetleborgs, the Ant Monster from Beetleborgs again, and Cannon Brawl. Finally, the comics. Power Rangers issue number 4 has Batarax and a recolored Sinister Simian. And that's about it, as issue number 5's only returning villain in the tavern is Villamax, who I don't count as he's not a monster of the week. In total, that's 46 monsters spotted on Onyx, 47 if you count the recolored Sinister Simian, and this doesn't include humanoid characters such as Runtus and the Auctioneer. I'm also not counting completely original costume characters in the background, such as these aliens, or the aliens singing up on stage with Sinister Simian and Batarax. There's also a few monsters I was unable to identify and partial suits combined into other costumes. I compared my work against the Ranger Wiki, and they list a character with a head of a Verox from Zeo that I was unable to find. 8 of these monsters are from non-Power Rangers shows, 6 monsters are from Beetleborgs, 1 is unused from Beetleborgs Metallics, and 1 is from Masked Rider. Huh, no VR Troopers love, I guess.
You know, Dad, every time I hear that, I think about you. But where the fuck are you, and why did you give me such a fat dog?
Now, I've been dangling that Dino Thunder appearance in front of you, and I think it's about time to talk. For how notoriously cheap the show is, they definitely can't afford to build a whole Wild West set to use for a handful of episodes, so instead, they rent. All the episodes I've talked about were filmed at the Melody Ranch Motion Picture Studio. Other episodes were also filmed here, just not in the context of Onyx. The first episodes filmed here were Mighty Morphin Season 2's Wild West Rangers Parts 1 and 2, which follows Kimberly getting sent back in time to a Wild West Angel Grove. The next 3 were all Onyx-related episodes that we've already talked about. The 6th and 7th, as well as the final episodes to be shot there, are Time Force's Movie Madness, where it's a literal Wild West set. The ranch itself is just north of Hollywood in the Santa Clarita area. They have multiple stages to film at, though I can't confirm if they were ever used on the show. They also have props, but I also can't confirm if they were ever used. But I can say, and you can tell from the episodes yourself, that production provided most of the props, such as the throne Divatox sits on in Turbo's Chase into Space, which would later become the Cobra statue seen in Lightspeed's The Cobra Strikes. All scenes outdoor, as well as the Onyx Tavern, are filmed in the Western Town backlot. The actual tavern set is a real building you can enter. According to their website, the place has quite a bit of history.
From humble beginnings.
The studio first opened in 1915 as Monogram Ranch and was owned by Monogram Studios, who shot 715 B-Western films there. Before the ranch was purchased by country singer Gene Autry, aka the Singing Cowboy, many Western actors would film here, including John Wayne. This was until 1962 when a fire destroyed the ranch. It was then sold to new owners who renamed it Melody Ranch and restored the burned buildings. Some other projects filmed here include The Lone Ranger, Magnificent Seven, MASH, Django, and Westworld. There are virtual tours on the website, but they don't seem to work properly, or at least they don't properly play on certain video players, but they're mainly just a few pictures put together in the video file. But if anyone would like to visit, tours can be scheduled over the phone. Melody Ranch is probably one of my favorite filming locations for the show, but it's likely we'll never see filming there anymore as Power Rangers films in New Zealand. Unless that changes or we can find a Western-style ranch in Auckland to film at, we may never see Onyx again. At least not with its Yeehaw cowboy look again. And now, the appearance that you've all been waiting for.
Hey, finally!
That's what we've been waiting for!
A blink and you miss a cameo in 2004 during Dino Thunder's Lost and Found in Translation. This episode is notorious for being a straight dub of the Sentai, but seen as a show within a show watched by the real Rangers. It's a fun episode, but for some reason the fandom really hated it back in the day. It's literally just a silly episode, guys. Chill.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
I mean, this episode's pretty much Team 4-Star before Team 4-Star. The episode starts off with Connor and Kiro walking in on Ethan watching TV.
What's going on?
No clue.
Ethan is in a state of awe, browsing through 937 different channels. He lists some highlights.
Haley got a new satellite dish. 937 channels of paradise. Foreign language soap operas, sumo wrestling, junior girls high school synchronized swimming.
Uh-oh.
FBI, open up!
Anyway, here's where we finally see Onyx.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
Yeah, enough stalling. I've made you guys wait long enough.
I may never leave this room again.
There! Did you catch that? Yeah, it's a shot of Onyx. Does the episode show anything more than that? No! It's just one shot of the fun Wild West planet we've been covering for the entire length of this video. Onyx and the Onyx Tavern is such a whimsical world that really captures the goofiness of Power Rangers. We've been through High Noon and back, digging at every single aspect of this element in Power Rangers history. With Onyx, all I can say is expect the unexpected, because it'll find ways to surprise you. I can guarantee 1 million Zanabatars that from its first appearance as a red planet in Flashes of Darkonda to its change into an orange planet with a green moon and heir to the throne, and then its next appearance, and then its next appearance, and then its next appearance that, wait a minute, hold the Sugar Bowl Zinger here.
You got it.
That's an establishing shot of Onyx that we've never seen before. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I stream frequently on Twitch and would love to have some of you there to hang out with and talk to. I just recently played a bit of Power Rangers Super Legends for the PlayStation 2. You can find links for my Twitch as well as my Discord and Twitter in the description.
Sucks you couldn't get those morphers, bro.